Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Garcia. I'm here in the studios at Rigetti High School. This is State Superintendent Mr. O'Connor. We're going to be having a little discussion here. Mr. O'Connor, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Nice to be with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down for our rally today. That was very exciting for a lot of the kids out there.
Very deserving to be a California Distinguished School. Is really quite a significant accomplishment, particularly during this effort. We increased the criteria. We made it much more rigorous this year. Not only do you have to have all of your test scores improve and the campus be clean and safe during the visits that the folks make, but this year, for the first time ever, we also had the requirement of narrowing the achievement gap so that all of our students have to be on an accelerated path towards academic success.
Some of the students keep asking me, why is it so important to have this distinguished school?
It's a real credit to not just the school, but to the entire community. We have in California today over 9,000 schools, and we developed the criteria so that 250 schools qualified. That's really a remarkable, I think, accomplishment for the school. And it says a great deal about the staff. It says a lot about the parents, the engagement, the support, so that really the home front does become an extension to the school front, and so that our students will be better prepared for the future. It shows teamwork. It shows that people are prepared for the future. So it really is quite a significant accomplishment. It's very difficult to become a California Distinguished School, more so this year than any previous year in the nearly 25 years of this program.
So you've made it a little tougher.
We made it a lot tougher. It's tough to close that achievement gap. And obviously we haven't had the financial support from the state that we had anticipated nor hoped. So it's a challenge when we're seeing some programs being scaled back or even eliminated. We're not able to lower class sizes where I'd like to see them. We're not able to purchase additional resources for all of our schools. So it's really been almost just a dichotomy in terms of some of the cuts that we've had, or really a paradox, that we've had some reductions, we've seen test scores improve, and then you have a situation here at Rigetti High School where you've seen that nice, dramatic, sustained growth and improvement. And we know all kids can learn. And at the same time of seeing this bar continue to rise, we're seeing the subgroups rise even more quickly.
How do you think that the budget cuts are going to affect this, the progress of the public schools? Is it as bad as some of the people are saying, you think? Are the kids going to be suffering, you think?
I think it's going to be hard on all of us, Mr. Garcia. I'm really concerned that it's just not as many of our teachers who receive pink slips, almost 30,000 throughout the entire state. That's a record number. It's almost 1 out of 10 teachers. And we're going to see larger class sizes, I fear. I fear we're going to see fewer classes in the music, the arts, career technical education. This is a school that values music and the arts. That was evident at the rally earlier. We're going to see longer bus rides for many of our students, if buses are available at all. We're going to see fewer nurses, counselors, librarians, and that's a real, I think a real necessity for our schools. To have programs like this that really train students for real jobs in career technical education. Obviously a program like this with all of the equipment, it costs a little bit more than just having 35 students in a classroom reading a textbook that might be 10 years old. And that's going to be another result of these budget shortfalls.
What do you think is the future of public education here in California?
I'm still very optimistic. The people of this state really want to invest in education. You look back to just last November, 6 months ago, during a recession, we had 91% of our local school bonds passed. And it was a high number. I think the number was 77 out of 85. Similarly, we had 81% of our parcel tax measures passed, 90% of our Melrose districts. And then some people will cite the special election, a couple of weeks ago, that people don't want to invest. And I think that's a misinterpretation. I think that was more Sacramento, do your job, don't expect the voters. And some people didn't like the spending cap because it would lock California in, relatively speaking, to a relatively low amount of money compared to other states. So to simply say that the election a couple of weeks ago was a signal that California needs to stop raising money to pay for essential services, I believe strongly, is a misinterpretation of the voters. People still want to invest in the future. If you want to invest in the future, you invest in public education. You want to shortchange the future, then you shortchange public education.
When do you see an upturn in the financial problems we're having right now for public schools. Do you see that in the future? Is it going to be further down the line, a year or two?
It has to get better. It has to get better quickly. Fortunately, the federal economic stimulus money for education, and our department, we wrote the grant for that, the application. California is the first state to not only submit the application, we're the first state to be a recipient of the federal money. And so we've received probably in the neighborhood today of about $4 billion. And we expect that we're going to get about another $4 billion from the federal government this fall. And that'll be our maximum. It's designed to be one-time money. But we need to do a better job as a state to grow this economy, to create jobs. We really should be the leader in high-tech, biotech, nanotech. And we're not having those discussions in Sacramento, and that really does concern me.
I've been hearing a rumor that you might be running for governor.
I heard that rumor also. But I still need to persuade my wife, and we'll see. We're trying to put it together, and we'll see what happens.
You enjoy your job?
Actually, I love my job. Every day is different. And really the highlight for us, and I said this at the big ceremony where Rigetti High School and these other schools were honored, to be a distinguished school, that's the Academy Awards, that's the Emmys, that's the ESPYs, it's the Oscars for education. It's California Distinguished School. It's all rolled into one.
Okay. Did you ever teach?
I did. A teacher, Ventura County, public school graduate, and taught high school for 5 years. Taught history, government, and really enjoyed it.
One more question. Okay. Is the high school system that we have now still working for the kids? Do you see any changes in the way high schools, the format for high schools is?
I'm a big believer in career technical education, and that doesn't mean that you dumb down classes for some students. In fact, to the contrary. If you want to work in the automobile industry, if you want to work on cars, you have to be college proficient. I mean, the reading levels for these manuals with all the computerized parts and engines is the same as any college level textbook. So one area I'm very proud of, and we've really never done a press release in my 7 years as state superintendent. When I first had this job, 2003, we had 300 career tech classes that were accepted by colleges and universities, the A through G curriculum. We just hit the 6,500 mark. And we did that not by lowering standards, but by increasing standards and working more closely with UC and CSU. And so the two paths are not mutually exclusive. They really are one and the same. So if I had that magic wand for our high school reform, we need to have these career partnership academies, at least one in every single high school. And it might be for media technology like you have here. I've been to some very successful ones for the medical community, for prospective doctors, dentists, nurses. I've been to some for the high tech, the biotech, for construction, for the trades, for law enforcement. So for education, teachers like you and I. And so we need to, I think, make those routes available for students. And it doesn't mean you're just going to become an auto mechanic and not ever be a college graduate. In fact, to the contrary. These classes will count. Later on, you may want to go back and get that third or fourth year of college after finishing Hancock or finishing Santa Barbara City College or Cuesta, and you'd be able to do that. And then we have to have the smaller class sizes, and we have to have better utilization of technology. I mean, student learning cannot just be 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. That device that we're going to be holding our hand can be used as a GPS, the iPod. You can be able to retrieve information 24/7, or as my kid says, 31, if you add the two together. So we're going to have to do a better job at utilizing technology because the competition today for our jobs isn't just coming from other states. It's coming from emerging, developing third world countries that wish to remain so no longer. So that's really our challenge.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.